Hello everybody and welcome to MightyOxTrading. In today's video we're going to talk about Phidias Propfirm, the number 8 ranked prop firm on my top 10 list. We're going to discuss why they ranked where they did, why they don't rank higher, and what they can do to continue to move up the rankings. And all I ask is if you find this information helpful or entertaining or anything like that, that you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because I plan on putting out more videos like this in the near future for the entire top 10. So, let's just get started. So Phidias recently celebrated their first anniversary. They were started last March, and we've seen some changes, some great positive changes along the way. That's why they ended up in the top 10. I do enjoy working with them. They're very, nice to work with as an affiliate, and they're continuing to grow based on the numbers, at least that I'm seeing. So why don't we get into why I like them, what the drawbacks are, and how I think they could improve. So, let's get to it. First up, let's go through our fact sheet. I forgot the fact sheet was there. How do you like that? So, they only offer rhythmic data feed right now. They've talked about Tradeovate for a while, haven't seen it yet. Hopefully. Drawdown types offered end of day and static and swing. Swing is not really considered a drawdown type though. They do not have directed funded. 3 account sizes available. There is a path to live. Max funded accounts is 15, and we'll talk about that. Payout percentage is 80-20. And yes, they do allow news trading, no restrictions on news, which is a big change because originally they had one of the worst news rules out there. They recently changed that over the last couple months, and one of the reasons they got bumped up to 8 on my list. So, let's talk about the positives first. Number 1, they have great sales. It was interesting, when they first started out and when I first became an affiliate of Phidias, they were saying that they won't do many sales. Well, they changed their mind on that. Oftentimes they're doing 70%, 80%, like right now, 70% off everything besides their swing accounts, which are 80% off. And they're even doing 50% off the funded setup fees. So that's great. Prop firms don't have to do big and great sales to be good, but it always helps. And, as long as the sales are sustainable, as long as they're not putting themselves out, making things too cheap, that they can sustain their growth and payouts and all that, great sales help traders get into the game and stay in the game, even when they're struggling. 80% off means you can pick up an account, a 50K account for like $30. You're a struggling trader, but you still want some skin in the game. That's a great deal. It's a great deal in everybody's wallet. So I will always give a plus for props that do great sales. Next up, now they have a static account. This is something they introduced a month or two ago. It's only at 25K. And it could be their easiest route to live because they also put that at 70 and 80% off. So it ends up being like $25. Which means, these are static accounts. They're 1-day pass, no consistency rule. Just go for it. So it means, you could YOLO. If, $25 doesn't mean that, and I know, traders do this. Now, I am not saying do anything on hedging or anything like that. That's against the rules. But, you put on one trade, go for that, the quick profit target. Easiest pass to live because it's a small target to pass the eval and then a very small target to move to a live account. Probably the easiest way to get to live in futures prop firms. So, if live is something that's important to you, and it should be. The swing account is a unique option. As far as I'm aware, there's only 2 places that have swing accounts. Phidias and Elite Trader Funding. And Elite Trader Funding is going all insane with their They're funded setup fees or whatever. I don't even promote them at this point. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with them. So anyway, the swing account actually allows you to hold overnight, over weekends, as long as you want. Obviously you got to pass the eval and then not hit your drawdown, so you can't like go and all weird and stuff. But if you're someone that likes to do that, personally, swing accounts I think would give me a heart attack. I've seen the swings, see the gap ups at opens with the way things have been so wild lately. But it could be fun to do with a couple of micros. They actually allow, I think, 2 minis on a 50K that you can swing. Might be one, and then two on the 100. I didn't look it up. But so if you want to try swinging, that didn't come out right. If you want to try swing trading, Phidias is a great option for that. Like I said, it could be fun to do just with a couple micros and see how you do. Definitely an interesting option. And you are allowed 15 funded accounts. It's the second highest in futures prop firms. Now I know there's going to be people that say technically it's not the second highest. So let me put in the asterisk there. It's the second highest of any of the firms that I promote. Yes, there are other firms. I mean, the first, number one is Apex. But yes, there are other firms that I have blacklisted, like Precision and Humble, that have 25. And I'm sure there's probably others that I don't follow that have more. Of all the firms I follow and I affiliate with and I work with, 15 is the second highest. The catch is it's 5 per account type. So you can have 5 statics, 5 swings, 5 regular end of day end of day accounts. Now, the thing is, if you want more than 5 end of days, well, you can buy 5 swing accounts and no one says you have to swing trade with them. There's no rule that says you have to swing trade. So really there you could have 10 end of day accounts and do it that way. The swing accounts are usually a little bit more expensive. Right now they're not, but usually they are. But other than that, they're just, you can use them just like a regular account. You don't have to hold overnight, over weekends, whatever. So really you have 10 end of day accounts and then 5 statics. So 15 accounts. Those that you love copy trading, of doing 1 or 2 minis per account. This is a good option to do that with, and it's one of the advantages of Phidias. And they have a very generous sim-funded payout cap. Now, there's always the caveat that you could get moved to a live account faster, but their sim payout cap is at $75,000, and that's total. So if you have, if you do somehow 15 accounts, that'll be like, 5,000 each, or whatever. So 75,000 on the sim is one of the most generous sim limits out there. And then you get moved. Then you definitely get moved to live. Obviously, you can be moved to live sooner, but I don't know how quickly. But there you go. Sim funded payout is a very nice amount. Not sure where it ranks. Now let's talk about our drawbacks. And there's one very big drawback that we'll talk about. And I actually forgot to put it in here, so before we even start with the 2 drawbacks I did put in here. Drawback number 3 is the 80-20. Like I said in the Funded Futures Network video, 90-10 is the industry standard. So I always ding a prop firm for having 80-20. That said, again, I will never tell a company that they shouldn't be doing 80-20. Maybe 80-20 is what allows them to do the 75,000 sim limit. Only the companies know their payout structure and their financial structure. So, it's not that huge of a thing, but still, it's a little bit of a dig. So the actual swing drawbacks I have here, the swing accounts rules for passing and payouts. This is the only problem with the swing accounts if you actually use them as a swing account. If you're in a swing trade, let's say you get in on Monday and you get out on Friday, that only counts as one trading day. And because you need, I believe it's 7 trading days to pass an eval, and however many days you need to get a payout, that is a problem. It's just not fair. You're following the rules of the account. So if you take 3-day trades, you're not going to be able to pass that eval for a month and a half based on trading days. So first of all, for the eval, if you're going to, with the swing trade, you're probably going to want to just trade the eval like a regular eval, not as a swing. And then, just be happy if it's a swing account anyway. It probably is not going to be your only account that you're trading. So use this as that you're not going to get paid that often, and use it as like a secondary account that you're going to swing on, or just a swinging. God. Anyway, so remember that if you do go for the swing account and actually swing trade it, that multi-day trades only count as one day, and it's not fair in my opinion. I think they need to come up with another way to do it, but we'll talk about that in a bit. This is the big one, and this is why Phidias doesn't rank any higher. They only do payouts once a month. Of all the other props I promote, I think this is the only one that only has one monthly payout. And this is the one I can't excuse. In my opinion, there is no reason to only have one payout period a month. There's no reason someone should, have to wait that long to get their money. I don't know if that changes once you're put into a live account, but even in a live sim, once a month is unacceptable. Need to go at least to 2 a month, 3 a month would be better. At least 3 pay periods a month, it's, I just don't understand why they would do that. And it might be a relic of when they started out and they just haven't changed it, but they need to change it. It's probably the one thing that's stunting their growth, because nobody wants to, do that. And if if you get your payout denied for some reason, and I don't hear a lot of denials with them, but if something happens, then you gotta wait another whole month. It's just not right. So that is the big ding for Phidias and why they ranked, um, up at number 8 versus at a better ranking. And the other drawback, we talked about this a little bit in the fact sheet. No Trader8 or Ninja Trader, and before I could say this was more NT's fault that they weren't onboarding new people, or new companies, I should say. But now we're seeing all these new Forex firms that are coming in the futures getting approved for Trader8. Why hasn't Phidias? Phidias has said it's coming. We've heard it for probably 6 months. I don't consider it a red flag because I know Trader8 can drag their feet. At least they didn't at this point. I want to know what the holdup still is now, seeing other firms, some of which I don't even want to deal with yet, getting approved by Ninja Trader, Trader8, since the Kraken acquisition of Ninja Trader. So that is a drawback, and I'm hoping we see a resolution to this soon, in that they do add it, or they explain why they're not adding it. So let's talk suggestions. How can they move up? Well, we mainly talked about it already. Find a better way for days to count on swing. If you're going to offer a swing account, you got to make it that people can get payouts easier. People, not easier than, but it shouldn't be a punishment just to actually swing trade on a swing trade account versus an end of day account. It shouldn't be a punishment, over the eval or to get a payout. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it's a certain dollar amount or if a trade is held for 3 days, should they count as 3 days? I don't know. I mean, I think there's got to be a solution there, and that that last thing I said may make the most sense, but yet I don't know. But if someone holds for 7 days, one trade, should that be enough to pass the eval? Again, I don't know, but there's got to be something to figure this out to make that swing trading account look more appetizing to people and not punish them for wanting to actually swing trade the swing trade account. That's the big one, and I think that's where they need to find a solution. The other thing is increase the number of payouts per month. I just talked about that. Might need to just save these things and then wait until my suggestion is to actually start talking about them. But yeah, 2 payouts at least a month. 2 payout windows, whatever payout periods, payout windows, whatever you want to call it, should be the absolute minimum on a sim funded account. 3 is better. Or just whatever the amount of days is. So if it's a 10 day period, then that's 2 a month. If it's a 7-day period, that's 2 to 3 a month, etc. You can't just, like I said, people want their money more often than once a month, especially if there's a chance of denial. Which, like I said, I don't hear a lot of denials from Phidias, but I do hear some, and people don't have to wait another whole month just because they made a mistake here and there. So those are my 2 suggestions. Phidias, like I said, is a prop I like working with. They're generous in whenever I ask to do a giveaway. They have no problem with doing that. They listen to my suggestions. I when they still weren't allowing news trading and actually failing people's funded account on certain news trades and things. I sent in a note complaining, and they said they listened to what I had to say. Apparently, they were listening to others. It wasn't just me, but and they made good changes. They made good trader-friendly changes. So I'm hoping that they continue to make good trader-friendly changes into those 2 things that I suggested that shouldn't mess at all with their bottom line or the profitability or sustainability of the company. That's all I really have about Phidias. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Phidias? Have you traded with them? Do you like them? What do you like? What don't you like? Let me know your feedback, because these rankings aren't, cemented in stone. Well, I won't, every time I update, I won't definitely do a new video series, but I am going to keep them updated as new information comes in, positive or negative. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's basically all I got today. Until next time, see ya. Next video like this will be about Apex Trader funding. Stay tuned for that. Should be up just a few days after this one. Talk to you later. Bye.